Hello, my name is Taylor Burris. I'm an English major film studies minor from Sterling, Virginia. For my community service hours and experience, I spent most of them at the Juvenile Detention Center in Atlanta, Georgia. This was special to me because I want to change the world one person at a time, but I think change begins with our youth. It is important to impact our youth because they can either uplift or diminish our future. Therefore, to start our days, we would always begin with yoga. Yoga was key to the following workshops that happened throughout the day because they loosened our body, allowed us to become more aware and comfortable with the space and with one another, and this determined whether the students and the juveniles would be able to be more receptive to the conversations that we would have later on. The discussions that we did have were around police brutality. In many situations, the students and the juveniles were able to discuss how police brutality has negatively affected them mentally, emotionally, socially, and physically. In many instances, the juveniles were wrongly accused of a lot of things that they were profiled for, and they were unnecessarily antagonized for because of the area in which they lived in. This negatively affects them today as well. And I was able to become more engaged with them in their personal lives as a person. As an English major, I want to begin my own media platform in order to give the unheard and underprivileged juveniles in the Atlanta area an opportunity to speak freely, without judgment, without fear, without reprimand, and without any antagonizing. So this is important to me, and it's also important to the youth because they are a lot of the time overlooked and they are unheard. So this is their opportunity to have their stories told. This platform will be an open discussion where there will be no judgment. As an English major, it is my job to educate others with the privileges that I have had. I am trained and taught to publicly speak. I have been taught to properly articulate what I have to say in my messages and engage in critical conversations and important conversations in order to reach various audiences. And it is important to do so now in the 21st century with media. But first, I needed to know my audience and I needed to know the authors of these stories. And that is why I went to the Juvenile Detention Center, because they are the authors of the untold stories. When I was able to interact with the youth, I was able to see their pain. I heard how much they were hurt and affected by the instances and occurrences that happened to them in their social lives and with one another. And a lot of the time, I was able to see the hopelessness in their faces. And this gave me drive and still gives me drive today to continue on making a media platform for them. This reconfirmed that there is a need for the underprivileged in the area. The two main skills that I brought with me to the table were my critical thinking skills and analysis skills and my public speaking skills. So there were adult activists there and there were parents there. And a lot of the times as an adult and as a child, there can be a barrier in between the communication. So one of the activists said, I used to be a part of a gang in the Atlanta area and I don't want you to do this. Immediately I saw how the students dismissed this information and were no longer paying attention. So throughout the conversation later on, I used my public speaking skills and my analysis to reiterate what he had said in a different way, because it's good to hear from another youth. Therefore, I said, being a part of a gang may seem glorious, may seem like this is your new family, may seem like you will have a deeper connection with them. But you have to remember that this is a business. And sometimes when you do no longer align with the business goals, you may be terminated by one of your own or by someone else. Although this had a lot of backlash and a lot of people did not agree with this, it got the students more engaged, and that was the goal, to have them in this open conversation. I was able to use my critical thinking skills and my public speaking skills respectfully to challenge and to question the comments and the discussions that were being had. I was able to gain personal insight not only for myself, but to give insight to others who were in the room. There was also one student with a speaking disability who I was also able to engage with, and he thought that his only option was being a part of a gang. And later on, I was able to have a question and answer with him, and we thought of alternatives for his life because he wanted to make change for his future. I completed my hours at the center because I need to change my society, because I want to change my society. My thinking skills and my critical thinking skills and my writing skills were all used at the Juvenile Detention Center, and these are all skills that I have acquired as an English major that are important for me to use. There were many students there who wanted to drop out, but me being an educated youth, I was able to be a good example for them on how to be inspired to not drop out. Thank you.